We miss you.
All right, awesome. Okay, we're gonna get going. I know we usually have people trickling in here through the next couple of minutes. I am Kate. Most of you, I think, know me. For our investors, thank you so much for coming today. Our first pitch session of 2021. Hope everyone had an amazing new year and has a good start to the year, barring yesterday, which I mentally, if this is helpful for anybody, I'm mentally just jamming in the end of 2020. We're just gonna shove it into that bucket and move forward. I say that flippantly, but you know. Anyways, we're excited this year. We're gonna, as most of you know, we started these pitch sessions out of COVID. They were gonna be a temporary fix to losing all contact to investment meetings, and they've gone really well since then. So we are definitely continuing them and hopefully growing them into 2021. We were able to get through, my God, just about 150 founders last year, and we've got a good 350 investors who sort of come in and come out on each of the sessions, which is awesome. And hopefully that'll just grow in 2021. We co-organize these with Female Founded Club. Carly, do you want to intro yourself, please?
Thanks, Kate. So Female Founded Club helps female founders raise capital through a number of ways. These pitch sessions is one of them. We're so happy to be here with Women 2.0 to organize them. But we also have the founders who are pitching today on our platform. It's a portal where you can find out more information about female-founded startups and what they're up to, and also reach out to them through our inbox. So if you're not on Female Founded Club, on the investors on here, and you want to reach out to the founders through our platform, you can go ahead and log in as an investor. It's free, and there's a lot more startups on there as well. I'm excited for the pitches today. Thanks for being here.
Cool. All right, we have 4 in our lineup today. And sort of a general focus, we will start, again, trying to move back to mostly our model of bunching based on industry focus, trends, whatever. So hopefully that'll be also helpful for our investors. Again, for intros, a number of ways you can get intros. Hop over to Female Founded Club. You can ask me for intros or decks or anything like that. You can reach out directly to our founders. They'll provide their information. And so those are kind of the rules of the game. Each of our founders are gonna get 5 minutes pitch or so. Today I did let them know they have a little bit of breathing room because we only have 4. And then we'll do Q&A right after the pitches. And for Q&A, please submit them via the chat and I'll verbalize them. And I guess that's probably all you need to know. And without further ado, I think we are gonna kick it off. And our first pitcher is Camila at Savitude.
Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. I'm Camilla Olson, the co-founder and CEO of Savitude. I was a venture capitalist in the 80s, and then I moved over to being a serial entrepreneur. I founded 2 predictive modeling companies. One exited for $95 million 2 years after we launched. And the other one became the bulk of Certera, which IPO'd for the second time last month. And last night it was $4.5 billion valuation. So it took a little bit longer than the first one. Savitude's my 3rd predictive modeling company. I never loved fashion. I never understood it, but I did a master's in fashion design so that I could understand it. And I ended up launching a e-commerce label where I really understood the fit problem. And that's why I started Savitude. So without further ado, I will launch into my, which is now gone. This is not very good start.
It's all right, you've got breathing room. Like I see, thank God for this breathing room.
Yeah, exactly, right. So I'm just gonna. 'Gonna, 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 Did I lose you completely?
Nope, we still have you audio.
Yeah, but I can't get to, yeah, I'm sorry, I completely, this is like, just there.
There we go. We got you there.
Yeah, right. Okay, yeah, it's always the first time works great. The second time it never does. So
yeah, I will
Savitude
go
is
on record saying, yep. I will go on record saying you had 2 very successful screen shares in our practice roundup. So
thank you, witnesses. Yeah, but it never fails. It's second time it doesn't work. I don't know why. Anyhow, I co-founded the company with a longtime friend from Palo Alto, Nick Clayton, and as a recommendation technology to recommend clothes for women based on fit for their bodies. And even with an 11% lift, we discovered that there were too many instances where there were no clothes that we could recommend for women. And that was because nobody had designed clothes for them. And so we understood from that that the real problem with returns is that it was a fit problem that originated in the design studio. And this is really why I think
Camilla,
we should be, yes.
Sorry, I just want to make sure you're on the right screen right now.
Yes,
I
it should
am
be
seeing
innovation.
your Zoom screen.
Pardon? It should be on innovation and fashion design.
Okay. It might be just
correct?
me. I'm so sorry for the yep.
No, I don't think so, Camilla. We don't see your deck. We see a Zoom.
Yeah, yeah. So you really, damn. So am I not sharing now?
We had the screen share going. It just
right.
Yep, the screen share was going,
there?
but it was not. It did not look to be on the right tab. There we go.
Got
okay.
it.
Did you see this page?
No, we didn't.
Okay.
Nope.
You did not see this? This is myself and my co-founder Nick, who is amazing. You should have seen that. But did you hear the story? Okay.
We did.
Yes.
Yep.
Thank you. All right. Thank you for interrupting me. The company is worthy of much more than this. This is why you should be interested in Savitude. The retail industry is in chaos, and there's been no technology in the fashion space. You can see this is the technology that's been there, and there's none been introduced to help the fashion designer, who's literally the apparel's greatest asset. At a minimum, without technology, how can you analyze and be more efficient? Savitude operate the design detail level. Every cut and sew line is a design detail. And so consider us the money ball for fashion. And on top of helping designers do their job better, faster, smarter, we help the organization be more profitable. So here's an example of what we do. Fashion designers still exhaustively sketch everything by hand over a 2 to 12 week period. Savitude's design studio delivers sketches in as little as 1 to 5 minutes. So on the left is an example we did in 12 weeks by hand. That was the process. And on the right, we took the sketches that were on the left and created what was on the right in 5 minutes. So I'll briefly mention here that we're adding a dashboard on top of this. So finance people can ask a what if questions like related to cost of goods. Merchandisers can test different audiences for fabrications and so on. Designers' inspirational images literally are the inputs. So let me emphasize this. Despite the introduction to this is a very complicated, sophisticated, and amazing system. You don't need to code if you're a designer to use this. You don't need to know anything about computers. You don't need to be able to select the images. You just need to be able to select the images that inspire you. And then you have the computer. It translates that into real time, into the actual designs. And this is what it looks like. Yes, and here's the demo. So the images on the left are the inspiration, and they're mapped to the sliders on the right. And so you can also choose the weighted ranking of influence for each image set, and you can choose your colors. You're literally building a visual sort of algorithm to teach the machine learning on the back end what to extract from each of these images. And you ideate on the fly for the new designs. And that's the magic, creating a collection in 1 minute like we just did. These are not just pulling static images from a library. This is creatively fueled by artificial intelligence. The analytics are powerful. They can be used to evaluate how well a designer or a collection is adhering to brand DNA. Analytics give deeper insight to fit, namely 2 new quantitative insights like body shape and the 4 key proportions that are added to size. We completed a beta, and that proved a minimum of a 4-week savings in product development. Companies, we're using the same core technology for all of these applications with different interfaces. For this application, we added a new drawing system and an interface. This is our evolution forward over the next 5 to 10 years. First, we're targeting the luxury industry and have defined 3 clear interface cases in the luxury segment. We're in the startup bootcamp sponsored by Prada, Valentino, and Accenture. The program is excellent. We're doing really well in this program. And you guys are the very first people to know that we're working with Gerber Technology, and we're next week we're installed in their New York City Innovation Center, where we're their front end on a push button from buy now to sewn garment in less than 1 hour, which is remarkable. Nobody does this. Companies have tried to build this AI system by throwing algorithms at the problem. However, none have been able to develop the personalization or the controllable technologies the way that we have been able to do this. We have 4 patents pending in our SaaS cloud-based technology. We use a freemium pricing strategy that is used from building up the bottom to this very large marketplace. We're now raising a $1 million pre-seed round. We've raised $1.4 million. We've been in a Techstars program. We've been in the TechCrunch Battlefield. This is our year. Things are going very well right now for us. Thank you very much, and we'd love to be able to talk with you further.
Camilla, thanks so much. Questions for Savitude can go in the chat. We do have one question from John. He's wondering, basically, how does the design work become a product for sale? Once it gets off your technology, does it then go into the regular production process?
Yeah, so right now, our endpoint is a vector sketch, a vector drawing, so we can go right into an Adobe Illustrator or go right into the a current 3D system. But we're working with Gerber, so in the next couple of weeks, our end product is our first pattern.
Okay,
so
great.
Yes, so the answer is yes, right into the system.
Great, and can you run through quickly as well your the use of funds for your fundraise?
Yeah, really need to. I need to pay the engineers we're hiring right now. We've done all of this with 2.5 engineers. over the last few years. And we're hiring 2 new engineers now. And so it's to hire engineers. So we've been paying people $40,000, $60,000 a year. And we will keep a lean budget, but we need to hire some more people. We're very lean staff.
Okay.
So
Great.
It's mostly for engineering and a little bit for marketing and sales.
Okay, great. And last quick question for 2021, can you just talk a little bit, you went through your go-to-market strategy, but can you talk a little bit, any sense of sort of what's in your pipeline, how it looks, and what your, what in that go-to-market strategy do you kind of have set up at present?
Yeah, so through the Startup Bootcamp, we're working with the luxury folks. So we have some meetings set up. So we've worked out what our applications are for luxury. So now we need to close some people. I'm not allowed to mention names right now at this point, but I'm certain we will get, we know who sponsors the program, right? So there's a clue. And there are a few other luxury companies that have reached out to us that, say not now, just, they know we need to, the group has a reputation of getting us to a point where we're ready to talk to them, because after all, they're luxury. So you need to get things sorted out at a certain point. So we're nearly there to be able to talk to them. They have a process. So that's there. And so with working with Gerber, they're introducing us to a number of people. I'm bringing in a number of people who want to work in so our focus is in on-demand manufacturing, which is where everyone's going. And so it's a matter of what we can do there.
Great. Wonderful. Camilla, you have one other question in chat, and in interest of time, we are going to move on. So you can pop in there and address that. Anybody you'd like to connect and learn more about Savitude, you know the drill. And we will move on now to Morrow with Kenzie.
Thank you.
Over
Thank
to
you very
Kenzie.
much.
Awesome.
Oh, thank you for coming, Camilla.
Thank you, Camilla. That was awesome. My name is Kenzie Butera Davis. I am the CEO and co-founder of Morrow, which I will dive into in a little bit. But quick background on me, I initially started sort of ideating around, what Morrow could be. Granted, it had a very, very different vision a long time ago, but about 6 years ago when I entered university. So I was really, really passionate about power-based violence. I'm a survivor myself, and I started getting involved in lots of nonprofit work. So I was working with domestic violence and rape crisis centers, so direct service providers, education agencies, policy, research, like anywhere where I could just kind of dip my toes in the water and see if that's, what I want to do for my career. I ended up feeling like we were putting Band-Aids on a lot of negative consequences of a much deeper systemic problem. So I ended up spending about 3 years researching the implementation of sex education, specifically in the US at the K through 12 level. Wrote a thesis on my findings, and then actually had a career shift. Went to work for an accelerator program where I was supporting lots of small businesses and then high growth, scalable, venture-backable tech companies like the ones that are here. And after that, ended up going to do some consulting work with 2 venture capital funds, one of which is called the Jump Fund. They support early stage female-led startups. And I spent about 3 years with them deal sourcing and doing sort of a lot of analyst and associate work, while I spent 6 months doing contract work, raising money for another female-focused fund, raised about $500,000 for them, and then ended up realizing I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I knew this problem super intimately well, and I met my amazing co-founder, who I will introduce to you all soon, and we kicked off what is now Maro. So I'm excited to jump in for you guys, and I will share my screen. All right, can we see that? Okay, great. All right, so Maro is a digital health company. We're focused on mental, emotional, and reproductive health for K-8 kids and the adults who shape them. More specifically, we leverage digital media and data for good to prevent avoidable public health crises and bridge the data gap in whole child pediatric care for mood, behavioral, emotional, or learning disorder diagnostics. So I'll dive into what that jumbo of words means here in a second, but first, meet Maro. Maro is a mobile app for parents. It is an AI-enabled parent companion that educates families on all things mental, emotional, and reproductive health. The app contains content which parents and kids can engage with and remain active on the platform, but there's also an AI bot, which currently helps parents log their child's behavioral development, but it will eventually answer any question that a parent has related to what we call tough growing up conversations. So these are things like, when do I talk to my daughter about her period? Or how do I explain anxiety to my 5th grader? So Maro is giving parents and kids access to the wisdom of leading child development and mental health experts in the palm of their hands, and we make that content cool and we make it fun. So how do we create content at scale affordably? This is one of the biggest questions that we get. It's super, super fair. We are bringing together best-in-class talent and simply creating a space for previously siloed efforts to work together. So we partner with nonprofits who are doing boots on the ground work, who have access to key opinion leaders, for example, board members, who have years and years of research, experience, and expertise into the niche topics that we focus on and cover. We pair them with an artist and a scriptwriter to create really awesome, engaging, medically accurate, and evidence-based content. We're able to factor in different costs because we're not doing a studio model. We are working with freelancers who are often really passionate about the problems that we're trying to solve. And it ends up being a phenomenal co-marketing opportunity for us to reach the audience that these nonprofits also serve. So I will dive into that here shortly. But first, I want to introduce you to my lovely, lovely co-founder, Lily Mittenthal. We met about 1.5 years ago when we decided to start working together. Her career is all in product development. She is a graduate from the Savannah College of Art and Design. So she's a really phenomenal product developer, but also graphic designer. And she has a background as well in advertising. So it just brings this whole wealth of expertise and knowledge that is a perfect complement to my background. She is really passionate about mental health. She is a survivor of depression and ultimately suicide. And so I'm just really honored to have her by my side as we build this company. Not pictured here, we also have a phenomenal team of 4 developers, and we are super excited to announce that we are currently signing a contract with our latest employee, who is actually technical advisor around data science, and his background is all in data science and machine learning, but he formerly worked with several government agencies addressing the opioid crisis, ended up going on to work for Nurex, which most of you are probably familiar with. They do birth control delivered, and he's also a startup founder for a biotechnology company. So we're really excited to have him on board. A little bit about traction, just where we're at. I mentioned I completed a 3-year research thesis, which was sort of the impetus for this. I also spent 2.5 years working alongside our target audience. We launched our product in late November, so we just launched. We're really excited. We have 537 downloads from 11 different countries, and we're really about to ramp that up with these partnerships. So, we're creating content with these nonprofits, but it also serves as a go-to-market strategy that is very unique, that we believe actually kicks off that hockey stick development that we want to see and that you want to see. So we create, after creating content, we send our nonprofits lots of marketing materials. We put their logo on anything that we co-create, and we give them actually a certain number of free code to the app to distribute to the lower income clientele that they work with that don't necessarily have the discretionary income to afford our products. So when you purchase a year subscription, one of those is donated to one of our partner nonprofits. But the great thing about this and creating all of these collaborative marketing materials is these nonprofits have a massive, massive audience. So we just established 2 new relationships that we're kicking off next week, one with Helping Women Period and one with period.org. And between the 2 of those organizations alone, they have access to 104,000 individual consumers. And so we're really excited to roll out co-created content in February, because we truly believe that is where that hockey stick growth kicks in. We've seen a lot of organic growth over the past month and a half. We have far above average engagement on all of our social media platforms. We were recently published in Red Tricycle, which reaches 20 million parents. We're now spoke contributors to that newsletter. We were just interviewed by Forbes, which is going to be released mid-January. And we have weekly active engagement from parents who are taking over our Instagram to read their favorite children's book related to empathy, relationships, etc. So that's really awesome. Wrapping things up, we are in process of doing a rebrand. We were initially called Before We Begin. Our new name, Morrow, we're really excited about it. We're creating new branding to set the stage for how we plan to scale. So we're starting with the mobile application for parents focused on the home, and we're scaling into 2 other verticals as we grow. The first is the application for our content in schools, and the second is the application for our data in a clinical setting. So how do we actually use our data to identify early indicators for mood, emotional, behavioral, and learning disorder diagnostics? So that's where we're headed. We're super excited, and I'm ready to take your questions. Thank you for your time.
Great, thank you, Kenzie. Questions for Kenzie can go in chat. Very quickly, can you just review your fundraise schedule?
Sure.
And,
we're raising.
Yep.
Sorry. We're raising $500,000 right now. We've closed on 100,000, about $500,000.
Super. And also, can you just, from a branding perspective, the rebrand, really quickly, the actual name Morrow, can you just review that again as well too? That's interesting.
Yeah, so we were called Before We Begin because on the rape crisis hotline, to establish a safe, confidential space, you say, before we begin, I must let you know this is confidential, et cetera, et cetera. It's just not very catchy, even though it has a powerful meaning. Morrow is Virgil, the Roman poet's last name. He acts as Dante's guide through the Inferno. So the hardest parts of Dante's experience, Virgil Morrow is there as a guide. And so that's where the name came from. And we're rebranding to really set the stage to scale this thing between home, school, and clinical settings.
Fantastic. Great. We have a question from Adriana. What are your costs, and who will pay the end users or content creators, or do they get paid?
Yeah, so we do pay our artists and script writers. Our cost depend on the quality of the artist. To be honest, we've averaged around $500 per piece of content, which is incredibly low, and we're really proud of that. But we also want to ensure that we're paying our artists fairly. We've just been able to get discounts because of our mission and because we are an early stage company. And what was the second question? Did I answer everything? Sorry, Kate.
Yeah, I think you got it. I think you got everything.
Okay.
Paying end users and content creators. Yep, you're good. Great. Kenzie, thanks so much. We are going to move on to make sure we can get to our next two pitchers. That was fantastic. Next up, we've got Caitlin at Dancio. Caitlin, and good to see you again. I don't know if you remember, but I was a mentor for Start Fast. What was that? Well, a couple years ago. I think you're on mute.
I completely remember. Hi, it's great to see you. Thank you for having me.
Yep.
So thanks everybody for this opportunity. And my name is Caitlin Trainer. I'm the founder of Dancio.com, which provides on-demand dance. I have been in the field for about 25 years, and like many dancers, I wear a lot of different hats: dancer, choreographer, educator, performer. I'm a Gold Nugget faculty member on the underground listing of Professor Ability at Columbia University. I'm the founder of Trainer Dance, which is a nonprofit performance dance company. Dance performance exists in a scarcity economy. So I really learned to be a scrapper, AKA resourceful, and imaginative from that venture. And I founded Dancio in 2015 because I went on YouTube and found an abysmal lack of offerings at that time. And I knew it would be a tool and a supplement and would reduce barriers to access for dancers around the world to have a digital resource. And in 2020, people stopped asking me whether people would ever take an online dance class. So without any further ado, why don't we go ahead and dive in to some screen sharing? And you already know who I am. So let's scroll forward. Uh-oh. I'm having trouble scrolling. Okay. So let me tell you a little bit about Dancio. Dancio provides on-demand dance with the world's best teachers of ballet, contemporary, modern, and jazz dance, available for a la carte or subscription rental by individuals and institutions. We provide excellent quality, authentic dance for people who like to move. We have star teachers that include Wendy Whalen of New York City Ballet, Julie Kent, now of Washington Ballet, and Kalia Campbell of Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater, for example. And we offer classes from beginning to pro level, both pre-recorded on demand, and now we recently launched Dancio Live, which is live classes. We're right on the cusp of launching our audio-only instruction series for somatics practices, for screen-free, more experiential learning. And I want to talk a little bit about dancers and access. So dancers have long had the problem of access to excellent quality classes for a number of reasons. Even the famed ballerina Misty Copeland grew up in poverty and eventually was introduced to dance at age 13, only for a meteoric rise in the field to become the superstar that she is. But there are lots of Misties out there, and due to a variety of barriers, some being monetary, daily class is expensive. Another being that a lot of teachers are concentrated in cities, and there are dance deserts all over the world, some actually very dramatic in international scene. And we also have just the restrictions of quality in local offerings, schedule, and convenience. And now that dancers are using digital tools, the entire performing arts is online right now. Dancers are going to be accustomed and used to using these digital tools. Even when they can return to the studio, they will happily keep these in their repertoire to provide access to the best quality after the studios open safely. In terms of what we offer, we have been in the space for 5 years, super high quality and really easy to access from anywhere in the world. All you need is an internet connection. I want to talk just a little bit about the market. I think we all know this is a ripe learning space. Dance is a $3.6 billion industry. Fitness is $80 billion. E-learning is $180 billion. There are 32,000 dance studios in the United States and 665 academic dance programs. So Who else is doing stuff in this space? Well, right now it's a really, really interesting time for virtual dance. And obviously no one could have foreseen what's happening in 2020, but everyone has launched some kind of digital presence. Everyone who was dancing in the studio is now online. And when the noise quiets down from that, I think we're going to see a few players who are really significant in the space, some of whom I mentioned here. YouTube is great because it's free. It's really hard to search. And it's really hard to find quality offerings. Quality meaning quality of filming, quality of sound, quality of instruction. Bear with me as my clock makes noise. CLI Studios is a big player in this space, really well funded, not a dissimilar business model. And frankly, I'm relieved by their presence because they are gladly serving the competition and commercial dance market, which I had some reservations about. We serve a more academic, pedigreed community of dancers. Danceclass.com, the instruction is of questionable quality and it's expensive. And Steezy is actually some really neat technology that they use to organize their classes, but a little bit different space because they're commercial and hip hop predominantly. So why don't I go ahead and jump over and show you how it's used, because we are live right now. So let's pop over to Dancio and we will click away from my pop-up ad. Let's see the little way to click away. So there. Okay, so here we are on dancio.com. And let's say you arrive at our website and you'd like to take class. Maybe today I'll do a ballet class. Oh gosh, which class should I take? Well, maybe that fabulous Julie Kent. She's a pretty famous lady. Let's see what it is. And so we can glance through at the length, the level. We can watch a little trailer for the class and learn from her and these beautiful young women from American Ballet Theater. Is that the class for me? Maybe, maybe not. Let's see, maybe I want to do a contemporary class. Let's jump in and see what's on that program. Okay, we scroll through. Maybe Lasina Coulibaly, who's on the faculty at Yale, Princeton, Columbia University, dancing his West African contemporary form and writing the book on the subject is more your speed. And all you need is a little space in your living room to do this. We have small space classes that we recently launched, and we can book a live class. If you need some feedback from your teacher, you can just log right on, look at these star teachers, select one, and book a class right away. It's a self-serve a la carte system. Lots more to look at there, but I welcome you to, let me go back to my screen share. Sorry about that. Let's get back to that pitch deck. And here we are. Thank you for bearing with me there. Okay. So let's talk about what's happened over the past year. So in 2019, Dancio received an investment of $100,000, and we quickly built out our library because we'd been doing little boutique collections prior to that. In January of 2020, we opened up our subscription services, and by April of 2020, we were in use in 15 colleges and universities. We had over 3,500 users all around the globe, just a rapid growth period for us on many levels as a company. We are in use in over 60 countries, and we've had press from numerous publications that you see over there in the right column, and not limited to that, but it's been an exciting time. We definitely have some traction, but it is time for us to really prepare ourselves for the next moment in time. And we're at an inflection point where we really need to work with investors to position ourselves as the global go-to in the time after the pandemic, when people can safely return to the studio. What the plans are, there's several things in motion, some of them currently in motion. Number one, we need to really get our marketing campaign up and running. There's two branches to that. One is that we're going to be partnering with studios, and I finally cracked the nut on what the magic of that relationship will be, and I'm excited about it, and we're preparing to launch studio partnerships over the summer. Two is that we're doing a quiz-based personalized curriculum. Right now, we're in the back end of preparing that. It's in the pipeline so that people say, what's the perfect class for me? And we send a customized curriculum, roll it out day by day with prompts of reviewing and ideally hashtags and social posting about their experience to kind of generate some energy from within the user's base. Moreover, I'm really excited about our youth curriculum. We're planning a comprehensive youth curriculum. Of course, creating the content is the most expensive part because we do have these 3-camera high resolution shoots with a beautiful aesthetic. So I want to do a full comprehensive youth curriculum with 2 branches, one being movement for anyone who has a body and the other being pre-professional training. So kind of 2 different channels that do overlap but are distinct in terms of the content primarily. Also, we need to further our adult library so that we're offering enough to keep our user base thrilled about our offerings. And finally, we need to begin expanding our genres. We have, for example, a very limited collection of jazz classes, and we need to branch that up. So we have African-based jazz forms and hip hop coming into our work over time. The vision is to become the global go-to and get the very best teachers in all the world of each genre, Chinese classical dance, Bharatam, Natyam, and to share what we have with people of all different stripes, not just professional dancers, but offering authentic movement experience to anyone who likes to move, anyone with a body. I received an email not too long ago from a young woman in Iran. And of course, ballet companies were disbanded in 1979 there. And she's actually a girl, she's 14 years old. So she told me how much she's loving Dancio and it's a game changer for her. And of course, I sent her a free subscription because she couldn't afford it. But if we can affect people all over the globe like that, I do think that dance can do magical things, and Dancio is prepared to do so. So thanks for listening, and I'm open to questions.
Thank you. That's fantastic. Very quickly, how much you're raising?
1.5 million.
1.5 million.
And we're
Great.
just starting that raise.
Great. Exit strategy, assume acquisition.
You know, I'm in it for the long game.
Or
I mean, I'm ready. I want this company to reach its full potential, and then I will exit.
Great. And we're going to do one very quick question, and then I do want to make sure we get to Lucinda and give her a nice hunk of time. I popped out, and so you may have said this. How is the video being done for the classes?
So we have a 3-camera shoot in a professional studio with a teacher and 2 dancers, usually.
Okay, great. Wonderful. We are going to move on to our last picture. Caitlin, thanks so much. That was fantastic. I want to go out and try to do dance. I'm so not a dancer, but wonderful. Okay, last up, we are going to hear from Lucinda at iAlly.
Hi, I'm Lucinda Koza, and I'm the founder and CEO of iAlly. And I'll just jump right into sharing the screen here. All right. The birth of a caregiver. Jumping right in here. I became my father's sole caregiver at a very young age. I was completely alone and on my own and had no one in my family helping me. And when I found out that there were millions of other young people in the same situation, I knew that I had to advocate for people like me. Millennials bear the brunt of caregiving, yet there are no systems that reach out to us specifically. So more than 1/3 of multi-generational family caregivers are millennials. 40% of millennials are currently likely to be caring for an aging parent. Yet something that really contributes to us feeling like total weirdos is that the traditional sort of messaging that is aimed at caregivers and caregiving is something like AARP, or there's this image of you're already retiring and you're taking care of your parents, but there's nothing out there that's aimed at young people who are surprised with this extreme life change. So now that we're the, almost the majority, we really need a sea change in how society talks about family caregiving. Family caregivers are in the middle of a health crisis. It affects our physical health. We're more likely to have hypertension, mental health, anxiety, major depression. And since the pandemic, actually 31% have reported having suicidal ideation. We're also not prepared to become caregivers. It's still taboo to discuss or prepare for the aging and death of our parents. We are reaching our peak earning years, but we don't know how to control our parents' finances. And we also don't know to consult legal counsel in preparation. So iAlly is a web and mobile app with built-in community. We save millennials time, reduce stress, and we allow informed decision-making by providing access to services that fulfill our unique needs. We have 57,000 users, and the cornerstone of the app is the community. Peer support improves overall health, chronic conditions, and addresses the isolation and loneliness that is the chief complaint among family caregivers. iAlly also connects users directly to their loved one's care team, giving the caregiver an important place in the care team, which fosters a sense of purpose that particularly millennials really respond to and find fulfilling. So there's data portals through which the user has direct access to providers, medical records, labs, medication, and they can submit daily vitals and symptoms. And for healthcare organizations, access to this caregiver intel is really solving, or the beginning of solving, a problem that costs $300 billion annually. So access to this intelligence increases positive patient outcomes and reduces hospital readmittance, excuse me. So curated, trusted resources and experts serve the user's needs. We have 24 partnerships. We have in-app mental health professionals and coaches. We have financial coaching, financial courses, legal counsel, anti-stress technology, and clinical trial matching service. We have multiple revenue streams that monetize our community. We have partnerships with pharmaceutical companies that use the network for clinical trial sourcing. Those 24 partnerships are revenue share agreements. There's an option for users to do a subscription plan. And then we own our own data. So we are able to monetize through advertising rather than through a third party like Google. I get to be in charge of the advertising. There are 53 million family caregivers in the United States alone. The family caregiver is in charge of the finances of their loved one and, legal decisions, healthcare decisions, everything. And yet they aren't treated like the coveted consumer that they are. So iAlly is really going to elevate the family caregiver as the coveted consumer, and essentially will be creating money out of nowhere. The competitive landscape really is fragmented and has gaps. There are a couple apps that they are serving family communication really around the patient. However, millions of family caregivers have no family, or they need protection from family in cases of elder abuse. And so those apps are just part of a fragmented market. So millennials are going to be earning more. Millennials use technology to make decisions, especially financial decisions, and we will be increasingly taking on these home healthcare roles. Due to the pandemic, almost 2/3 of the nation's nursing homes are due to close due to bankruptcy. This is our roadmap. It's very small, hard to read right now, but we just formed in February of 2020. We received a $20,000 grant from Google, and we launched an MVP in July. And we were voted the #1 product of the day on Product Hunt. Then we did a redesign, and we're just now launching the new design. So we have 24 partnerships and 57,000 users right now. The go-to-market plan, we really will have network effects because one user's contributions add value for another user. So it's just, that creates exponential organic growth, almost to the viral level. The influx of data will inform our future sales and future partnerships. We're going to use influencer marketing, and then I'm going to continue to really put my story out there and promote authenticity and trust, which is really important in the community. This is our team. Passionate thought leadership fortified by data science. Thank you.
Great, Lucinda, thank you. And we're a little close on time. If anybody does have any questions for Lucinda, you can pop in there. Lucinda, can you just quickly review, I know you're pretty early stage, quickly review the terms of your fundraise and sort of where that's going to take you, and also just a quick review of the business model.
Sure. So we're raising 500,000, and it's really going to be used for community management, and then also management of all of these contracts and revenue streams. It's just gotten to be so much for just me, which is a great problem to have. And so the business model is basically there is the option of a user subscription, and then but then we also have this sort of freemium model, because I don't want to turn anyone away that's in need. Then we also have revenue share sponsorship from our partners, and then we have data monetization, and then also partnerships with a couple pharmaceutical companies that are paying to source patients for clinical trials.
Awesome. Thank you so
Great.
much. So let's go ahead and close out the pitch session, but great job to all the founders pitching today. Really interesting companies. Kate, thank you for co-organizing, and investors, thank you so much for being here. If you want to connect with the founders, you can connect with them directly, or me and Kate have their contact information. We're happy to make an intro. And finally, they're on Female Founders Club, so you can log on there and reach out through our inbox. I hope you all have a great weekend. Kate, anything I missed?
Nope, that's it.
Thanks,
Awesome.
everyone.
See everybody next week.
Bye.
Bye.